The Italian Wine Podcast is the community-driven platform for Italian wine geeks around the world. Support the show by donating at italianwinepodcast.com. Donate €5 or more and we'll send you a copy of our latest book, My Italian Grape Geek Journal, absolutely free. To get your free copy of My Italian Grape Geek Journal, click Support Us at italianwinepodcast.com or wherever you get your pods. Grazie mille.
Welcome to Wine, Food and Travel with me, Marc Millon, on Italian Wine Podcast. Listen in as we journey to some of Italy's most beautiful places in the company of those who know them best, the families who grow grapes and make fabulous wines. Through their stories, we will learn not just about their wines, but also about their ways of life, the local and regional foods and specialities that pair naturally with their wines, and the most beautiful places to visit. We have a wonderful journey of discovery ahead of us, and I hope you will join me. Welcome to Wine, Food and Travel with me, Marc Millon, on Italian Wine Podcast. Today it's my great pleasure to travel to central southeast Tuscany, to Montalcino, to meet Elena Pellegrini, winemaker at her family estate, Azienda Agricola Cerbaia. Thanks so much for being my guest today, Elena. How are you? Is it a beautiful day where you are?
Yeah, hello, Mark. Hello, everybody. Yes, I'm good. Thank you. Today is an amazing sunny day and a little bit of cold wind, but as always, because Montalcino is a very windy hill. And thank you for joining me today on Italian Wine Podcast.
Well, thank you for being with us and thank you for sharing your story. Now, Montalcino lies about 40 kilometers south of Siena, near the Crete Senese, sheltered by Monte Amiata to the southeast. It's a particularly beautiful wine region and the source, of course, of one of Italy's most prestigious wines, Brunello di Montalcino. Elena, can you please describe the countryside so that our listeners can get a picture in their minds of this very beautiful and special place?
Yes, sure. Montalcino is a very, very unique area. It's a great winemaking area, and also this unique territory allows to have very different interpretation of the wine. This probably thanks to the several altitudes, exposition, soil composition, and microclimate. Very often happens that in the same single vineyard, single plot, we have several soil composition and microclimate. And we are in the Val d'Orcia, that is human heritage. So it's a very, very important landscape and area. Especially Cerbaia is located in the north-south side of Montalcino Hill. Actually, we are in Montosoli Hill, one of the most important crew of the area. And Montalcino in totally, but especially where we are located, it's a special area vocated for Sangiovese. The soil composition is clay and the typical Toscan galestro with stone, very small stone, that is perfect for growing long-lasting wines with personality, great complexity, and also very elegant wine and very good for the aging.
Okay, well, that's a very good overview and as well a reminder to our listeners of this incredible complexity within the Montalcino area. And also it's particularly beautiful because it's not simply monoculture of vines, but the woods are still very important and they're beautiful views over the countryside. I'm imagining from the Montosoli, it's a really stunning place to be and to work. So, Elena, let's begin with the story of Cerbaia, a family business that was started in 1978. Now, in the late 70s, Brunello was not yet a wine widely known around the world as it is today. It hadn't really yet conquered the global market. So your family were early pioneers in helping to put the wines of Montalcino on the world wine map. Tell us a little bit about the family story.
Sure. What you say is correct. Brunello now is probably the Italian king in the world, probably one of the most important wine in the world. And we started in 1978 when my family decided to plant the first vineyards even if they bought the land in 1920 from Biondi Santi, because Cerbaia land owned by the Biondi Santi family. And so you just this you can understand how important is that part of Montalcino land slope. So my family started in 1978 the growing of vines, even if they bought in 1920, but till 1978 they were just farmed. Then my father understood the importance and the potential of this amazing wine and grape variety, that is Sangiovese, and decided to plant the first vineyards that is close to the cellar. At the time, we had only 1 hectare, and there was only a single room for the vinification. The first vintage was the 1982 with only 2,500 bottles. Then my father and my grandmother built the cellar in 1980. In 1988, they planted our biggest single plot vineyards that we still use. And in 2015, we created a very unique terrace vineyards that is a very unique in Montalcino because we are only in 2 wineries that we use this kind of grown, an alternation between olive oil, tree plants, and vines.
That's a wonderful picture you're giving us of this terraced vineyard.
Yeah, very characteristic and so unique. It's also very challenging to work in it because the rows are very small, very tiny. So to go inside to work the soil and also make the organic treatment, we make everything handmade. So it's a very challenging vineyards that take a lot of care.
Well, it's also interesting to hear that the land was owned by the families long ago is 1920, but the decision to plant vineyards was in 1978, and your father began in a very small scale. So it was really pian piano, I guess, really experimenting and seeing what could come from this land that you have. Now, Elena, I'm interested in your own story because you joined the family business when in 2014, but you weren't previously working in the world of wine. Tell us your story and how you came to be drawn into the world of wine.
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, I'm the third generation, but my wine life, we can say, started quite recently because even if my entire family comes from Montalcino, I moved here from Rome, where I was born, I grew up, I studied, and I had my entire life till 10 years ago when I decided to quit everything and to come here, we can say back home, and to take care to the family farm. I like to think that probably I was predestinated to do this because even if my entire life is here, so my great parents and so I used to come here for the summer holiday, Christmas holiday, Easter holiday. I always have been in contact with this territory, with Montalcino, and so maybe this is destiny that yes at the beginning of 2014 I decided to quit my career because I had a specialistic degrees in manager, marketing, human resource, finance. So I decided to change completely my life and to come here and restart from the beginning because I didn't know not so much about agriculture, enology is a subject. So I restarted everything from the beginning.
That's an amazing story. So you left the city of Rome where you'd grown up, where you'd worked, where you had a
Yeah,
successful
yeah,
career, and decided to move to the family farm because you felt the roots of who you were still deep in that soil.
yeah, sure, exactly. My wine roots is here.
Okay. Was it difficult for a woman to enter into the world of wine in 2014?
Okay, I think that probably the wine business, the wine world it's still a little bit male business for a lot of reasons. First of all, the first shock is to move from a big city to a very very small town, a small village. So this was a shock for me because I used to have a kind of life that you for sure you can find in a very small reality like Montalcino. And also I'm a very relationship person. So at the beginning I miss all my connection with people because I didn't know so much people here, and especially with a different mind from mine. And also the business, the wine business is very difficult to approach. It's not so transparent, so limpid, we can say. Yes, a lot of not competitors, but they're very so different reality, and it's different. It's a very fast world. It's very challenging, but we are young. We are here for this, so I'm happy to take in this decision for sure.
Well, you must have really learned quickly because the wines of Cerbaia, although you are a small producer, are of the highest quality and receive awards and are written about. I've read about your wines in Decanter magazine here in the UK, for example.
Italian Wine Podcast. If you think you love wine as much as we do, then give us a like and a follow anywhere you get your pods.
What is the philosophy and approach to wine at Cerbaia?
We like to say that our wines must reflect our philosophy, and especially our female philosophy. So I always say that probably my wine are very elegant and fine because I'm a woman and I have a very delicate palate, maybe. So I want that the philosophy of the winery is quality oriented for sure, because we are very we can call it boutique winery. We have only 5 hectares, all under the appellation Brunello di Montalcino. So it means that the potential is up to 30,000 bottles, but now the average of the production is 20,000. So it means that we sacrificed a lot of production to focus only on quality. So the customer also have to see and recognize the quality and the style of Cerbaia, Brunello di Montalcino, and the other wines. And for this, we use only large Lasvonian oak to guarantee the very classic and traditional styles, and very long persistent in the oak, because we love very tan, that the tannins are very soft and rounder. Also the organic philosophy is very important to us, because you have to consider that I'm the first consumer of the wine, so for sure I want a very healthy wine.
What are some of the steps you take for your organic cultivation as well as in the winemaking process?
For sure, we are organic, but we have not the certification, but only because we are in the north. The north side of Montalcino, till 5-10 years ago, was one of the maybe the most challenging area, because we are very high altitude. We are lying on an altitude of 400 meters above sea level. So sometimes we suffer late frost, a lot of not dryness, because we have a lot of water veins under the soil, but sometimes hill, because we are in the north position. So it's a very challenging area. So I prefer to be secure, to be sure that if I have to make a very strong approach, I can. But we make only organic treatment.
Okay. Now I'm just wondering, with the excessive heat that you've had to endure over the last 2 seasons at least, this has been obviously increasing over the years. Does the position of your vineyards assist that, being on the north and also at high altitude?
Yeah. Probably in the last 5 years, the north side is a fashion. Everybody wants wines that come from the north. But why? Because is here that born very elegant, very fresh, with a lot of complexity wines. Also, they're different, because the focus now, till 10 years ago, it was a little bit difficult to arrive to get the perfect ripeness. Now with the climate change, the north wineries, the wineries that are located in the north, maybe has a little bit more help from the nature for this, because we have a lot of structure, the velvet tannins, they are very rich and elegant wines. So everything changed in the last 10 years.
Okay, that's interesting. Now let's just familiarize our listeners with your wines. Let's start with the Rosso di Montalcino.
Yeah, Rosso di Montalcino is a younger wine than some people call it the little brother, but it's not correct, this this approach to the wine, because Rosso is has its own life, its own approach. It's a modern approach of Sangiovese, because it's a very interesting wine, especially Rosso di Montalcino Cerbaia, because we declass it from the youngest grapes of Brunello, and you can find the structure of Sangiovese, but also a lot of fruit and freshness. It's a wine that is ready to drink immediately. It's a very dynamic, and our production is so small because it's around 4,000, 5,000 bottles every year.
Okay. What is the aging discipline for Rosso di Montalcino? When can it be released?
Okay, the release is immediately, because we have to wait less than 1 year after the harvest. And our rosso, we love to make a little bit of oak for the rosso, between 4 and 6 months, because the reason is that comes from the same grapes of Brunello, so we need to make it a little bit approachable. Yeah. Otherwise, the Brunello is a very classic style, traditional Brunello, because stay for 36 months in the oak, large Slavonian oak barrel. And it's a very dry wine for sure, with a brilliant color, intense perfume. On a palate, it's a very, very complex, a very high level of acidity to guarantee a very long aging in the bottle, and a lot of body, and the tannins are so very velvet and very round.
And then for the Brunello di Montalcino Riserva, that's a further aging discipline then as well.
Okay, the Riserva we produce only in the best vintages, when we believe that the wine and the grapes are on the top of the quality and has the capacity to become a Riserva. So the last Riserva available is the 50, and the next one that will be able will be the amazing 19. And our we obtain from our oldest vines, and stay for 48 months in the oak, so a very, very long aging in the oak.
Okay, great. Now, one other thing I'd like to talk about is your extra virgin olive oil. I'm imagining you're just finishing the olive harvest.
Yeah, yeah, 10 days ago we finished the harvest and also the press.
So that means you're enjoying the new oil right now.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of bread, the fresh bruschetta with bread.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, this is the third vintage that the olive oil harvest in Cerbaia in the north. But probably, as I heard by my colleagues all around Montalcino area, is not so amazing because of the quantity. Because every time during the flowering happens something, or too much rain, too much water, or too much cold, the late frost. So it's 3 years that we are having some difficulties with the olive oil harvest.
Okay, well, I think that's important for our listeners to understand as well, that olives are as sensitive to vintage variations as wine. And indeed, the release of the new oil is a very exciting moment and part of the rhythms of life. That oil is such a precious food. Tell us a little bit. Let's talk about gastronomy, uh, piatti tipici, the new oil, and how some of these local foods pair well with the wines of Cerbaia.
Okay. Brunello is a dry wine and also tannins that take away the lubrication of your mouth. So, for dry and tannin wines like Brunello, you need fat and oil food that recreate a balance, the lubrication on your mouth. And for this is perfect the cold cuts, cheeses, pasta with meat sauce, the typical local wild boar, the deer, all these fat and oil food that goes very well with the Brunello and emphasize the Brunello, but also Rosso for sure.
Okay, so Rosso you would maybe have with lighter foods, with the salumi.
Yes, because Rosso is, we can say that everyday wine, no? Especially here in Montalcino, is everyday wine. So for pasta, and yes,
Okay.
all very simple plates.
What is
yes,
the
for sure.
typical pasta?
Pasta. Here we have pici. Also in Montalcino is the only part of Tuscany that called pinci with the N in the middle. But pici is a very long, is a huge spaghetto, handmade, and goes very well with the wild boar sauce.
Okay, the ragu di cinghiale.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Exactly.
Wonderful. And you were telling me the name Cerbaia. Where does that come from?
It comes from the Latin word that means cervo, cervus, the deer. In fact, Cerbaia means deer land. And our logo on the label is a deer that is resting under the vines to mean the same peace and rest that needs Brunello during his very long aging process and aging life. So we did this word play game to put the deer on the label, and our label, I think it's quite classic.
Yeah, it's a beautiful label. Finally, Elena, if our listeners would like to visit Cerbaia, is that possible? Can you tell us about wine hospitality?
Yeah, they are absolutely welcome. We can host a group up to 20 people, and we love to host clients, wine lovers, and all the other kind of person who want to improve their knowledge about Brunello. Because I always say it's so important for the winery to travel and go abroad to promote the wine, but only coming here and visit the winery, people can understand really better how much work is behind the Brunello, and maybe in this way appreciate better. The wine tour includes our visit to the vineyards, is the weather allowed, is this, the cellar, and the Brunello Rosso tasting vertical, what they want. And I see that people love, enjoy the landscape, the amazing landscape, and also the quietness of this place.
Yes, I think that's a real attraction for visiting the Montalcino area. The wonderful wines, the wine estates that can be visited, but as well, it's just such a beautiful place to relax. The countryside's beautiful. There is the historic town of Montalcino itself, the Abbey of Sant'Antimo as well. So it's a beautiful area, and I hope our listeners will visit Cerbaia, explore the area, and discover this very special place. Elena, it's been a really great pleasure talking to you this morning. Thank you so much for sharing the story of Cerbaia, sharing your own story, and telling us about the wines that you're making.
Thank you, Mark, for hosting me and Cerbaia Winery today on Italia Wine Podcast. And I hope to see you soon in Montalcino.
I hope so too. I would love to visit and meet. So perhaps a presto.
Yeah.
Grazie. Ciao. Ciao.
Ciao, grazie. Bye-bye, everybody.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode of Wine, Food and Travel with me, Marc Millon, on Italian Wine Podcast. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe right here or wherever you get your pods. Likewise, you can visit us at ItalianWinePodcast.com. Until next time, chin chin.